Hello, Culture Matters podcast. Buckle up. I'm so excited to introduce you to not only our guest, but the guest with capital THE in terms of the most amount of times on the Culture Matters podcast history, which, if you know the Culture Matters podcast, that means something. Those that have come on our show, we know. Either directly, they're people in my life that I've had the great privilege of meeting out in the wild, or they're people in my life that have been on the show or not on the show said, hey, have this person on. They're of good spirit, good cheer. They have something to say, to offer. They've lived something of value. Now, we all know that's everybody in the world, seriously, but not everybody gets to come on the show. This man has been on the show the most. He's been influencing his industry and in some sense all of our industry in the sense that everyone will have somewhere or aspire to have somewhere to live. He's been influencing the mortgage industry for decades from not only a family perspective but a personal perspective, helping advise and consult and think with various influencers in the mortgage business and owners and operators and executives and employees of companies within the mortgage business for decades now. Shoot, I lost track of how many years. We could talk about that without making this young man seem older than he is, but he's a great friend of the Culture Matters podcast, the one and only Andrew Berman. I think this is 40. I'll be embarrassed not at all if I'm wrong, because it's definitely a lot, but I thought the other one was 39, so that would make this a 40th appearance. I didn't share my quote first, but I'll tell you, I was thinking about Charlie this morning, like life is too unfair to give to undeserving people. There's one person that deserves an introduction like this. It's Andrew Berman on the Culture Matters podcast. That's our guest today, co-host of 30 Days of Thought series with Paul Aceto. And I could keep going. You know what? We've run out of time. The episode's over.
All right, have a good day. Take care.
It feels like been a while since we talked on the show. There's so much to cover. Yeah, and then if anybody's watching this, first they'll think it's a monologue because they don't have a video, and then but his video just that was fun. Would you get a system there to do
I got a
different?
little button,
Wow.
and I'm back. That's all.
So thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate you know, doing it middle of the day. I mean, usually we're doing this 5 in the morning, and this is a break from that. So yeah, what are we going to be chatting about today, Mr. J?
Well, let's start with the less meaningful stuff. It's like, man, maybe the world be a different place. Like you meet a stranger and immediately you get right to the nuts and bolts of it. It's like, you know, why
Skip
are
the
we
small
here? What are we
talk.
doing?
Yeah, skip the small talk. Listen, I mean, I would, so one of the things that's obviously on my mind is I'm beardless, hairless, going through actually my struggles with cancer, which I wasn't going to be public about it. I wanted to just kind of hide, be in the background, still do what I was doing, be in the background, but I knew actually that that was not the way to go from the work that I've done with you, like, and the influence that you've made on me. Like if someone says how you're doing, to say anything but the truth of what I'm going through, um, it felt like a lie. Um, I think probably years ago, if I would have been faced with the same struggles, I just would have just hid and said, "Hey, listen, I'm fine. I'll bow out for a little bit." But I think the work I did with you gave me the courage to just be upfront and open about it and just say, hey, listen, I'm going through some shit. Um, People have gone through so much worse. Relatively speaking, I have relatively good health. I have an amazing support system. My family is amazing. My wife has just been just phenomenal, and friends, just coming out of the woodwork, just saying, "How do we help? How do we support?" So, um, it was definitely the best move not to just hide this and just slip away, and as well as actually, I'm just awareness to kind of let everyone know, hey, listen, if something's going on, check it out. Check it out. Don't wait.
Mm, mm. Seems that's see that seems like wise advice for me today with so many things that I'd want to put off.
And this when I first actually felt the lump, I just figured it can't be anything. Like, what could it be? I'm in relatively good health. Eat good, work out pretty regularly. Like, it can't be anything bad. It's got to be something. And then I just put off a little further. Um, just because just seemed more of a cosmetic thing, and no one even saw it, couldn't even notice it. It's like a little lump right here that just, you know, I could only feel. And uh, oddly, it would if I got good sleep, it would shrink. It would do better. Like, I was like, okay, so this game on. This is like a little thing to remind me to get better sleep. And then December, um, probably worked a little too much. Didn't get enough sleep, and it got big. It got really big. And at that point, I said, all right, I got to do something. I said, so we had a large conference, one of our largest conferences was in January. So I said, all right, after this conference, I'm gonna go to the doctor, get this checked out, just in case. See if I don't want to look ugly on stage. So I said, let's wait till after the conference. And after the conference, went to the doctor, and yeah, the doctor was convinced right from the first appointment. Yeah, this is something serious, and within a month later, we had confirmation of what you know, I guess one could consider worst case scenario for something like that. But relatively speaking, very very treatable, very very curable, um, and my my body is responding already well to the treatments and everything I'm going through, and it's and to the point I'm actually able to. I'm working full time. I don't see any point that I'm going to be slowing down. Maybe like the last 2 weeks of this might be the case, but you know, if if you got something, your body's telling you something. Our body does a great job of communicating things, and we can do a great job of ignoring those things, just because we hustle, we push through. But you got to listen to those signs, whether it's your body or your your organization.
It makes me think if the body are the customers and the mind is the leadership team, what happens when we don't listen to I'm just, I had this metaphor, what is this,
Yeah.
analogy pop in that such good advice for everybody about everyday thing. I'm running a company. I have a lot of reasons why maybe I don't want customers. I don't want to read the customer survey. I'm busy, like genuinely. I'm so stressed. I could barely even get my butt on time for this podcast. And this
Yeah.
is so important to me. I thought it was. Of course it is. You're important to me. What happened? I overpromised and underdeliver. I had so many things I want to do, and so What are your thoughts?
So, I mean, just the that kind of like the leadership, and being the leader in the body, being like the customer. Um, it's a great analogy because listen, we become as we become successful, we could sometimes stop listening to the customer. And because we know better than the customer, we feel like because we're experienced at this, and we don't necessarily listen to their feedback, listen to the employees, listen to the like what's going on, in our organizations, and the mind, um, you know, you have to actually, you have to make the best decisions based on the mind. And I think I'm going into a different place with this analogy, but yeah,
Like we're getting information. We're all of us listening, you, me, we're getting information constantly on what's going on, or and then people are saying what we should or should not do, and how do we parse out? And then there's what we want or what we say we want. It's hard. It's a, I find it. I think when I'm most scattered in priority, one of the things that I've done to gain a footing, is make a list, like to write things down.
are these like running priorities that you're writing down? What are like what's this list look like?
And then, yeah, everything that's on my mind, and then move in to do one at a time as quickly as possible. You said something about, well, not waiting made me think like, what's what's my relationship with urgency?
Mm.
What's our listeners' relationship with urgency and priority?
You know, and I think it's the discipline to know, what you're supposed to be focusing on, what's the most important thing to be focusing on versus what you want to focus on. And I think actually, uh,
Here's what you were what you said as health advice, meaningful, powerful. It sounds like, at the same time, it sounded like it sounded like there was also leadership and leadership advice. And the reason is because organizations communicate with us the way that our bodies do. Employees have something to share, customers are saying things, financials are saying things, markets saying things, cultures saying things, yet leaders are capable of ignoring those signals as patients. What do you think? What do you think?
well, I mean, and communication is the lubrication of any great organization. So yeah, like so listening to those signals as a leader is super important. And um, of course, having a filter is important to know actually what might just be noise. But you have to listen. You have to have your ear, you know, to the ground, getting actually all this information from your employees, from your customers, from your vendors.
Here's what comes to mind, and I want to acknowledge you for this. Uh, I would say I'm a student now in your regard, saying pay attention to your health and body. My immediate reaction would be, well, that's a lower priority because I'm freaking out about uh, customers, parents, family, business, goals, marriage, charity, all the other things that don't, just right. There's all these things that I'm trying to be as responsible as possible for and fit. that the last thing I'm thinking about is I'm gonna go do this, go to the doctor. Man, I haven't gone to the dentist in in it so long that I just thought, oh, should I share that on the internet? So it's just, well, I was saying one of the things is interesting. I know you're such, yeah. So like the most responsible person in the world in all the things that matter in life, health can very easily become a blind spot. And I think what, is that a thing with entrepreneurship? All the health conscious entrepreneurs that I've met are the ones that already sold their company or they've already checked out and they haven't sold yet. Like they're not even leading. They're not even doing anything. In the ones that I've met anecdotally, this
Yeah.
isn't a text, this is like a problem, I'm just saying like, why? Well, because they're not, they're not working. So they're working 17 times a day, working out. Now, there's exceptions, sure, but I'm saying like life is hard. What do you juggle? What do you go up and down and you know,
Yeah, being truly like balanced where you're balancing everything, it's just not possible. You can't I don't think you can, be an amazing family man, be 100% dedicated to your health. I mean, listen, we all should be working out, more than an hour a day for at least 5 days a week. Um, Eating a lot better than most of our, but it's difficult to do all of that to actually, be, part of your church or synagogue or mosque, to be everything. And, there's points where, in my life where I remember actually saying this to myself. I said, I don't want there to be crossover. Like, I don't want to actually, like, people like from my synagogue to say, oh yeah, he was a hard worker, or people from my work to say, yeah, he was a great family man. Like I wanted actually, I wanted to be the rounded person, but it's impossible. You can't actually be all things. You can't be, the person for the community, the person actually, that's the president of your synagogue, the person actually that's running an organization, and being a super dad. At least um I have not I've not figured out that recipe. I'm able to do like two or three of those things at the same time, but not all.
you think that at some level that's why it's not the greatest idea to put any one person in the highest place because we don't know what each of us struggle with. Like I would say you've led us today on this show by sharing your story, something that you're confronting and overcoming. Um, at any given time, any one of us, whether we're listening or I'm the host, you're a co-host and a guest today, there are things that we're failing at that aren't visible to the naked eye. Like as people,
Yeah.
individuals. That makes me, it's like I don't know if what degree of truth there is in this, but it seems humbling to think it's like yeah, wherever my focus goes, something else is going to be sacrificed.
Yeah, like are we doing the best thing right now with this moment in time? Like, and should we be obsessed about that? Like, should we be like, is this now? I was looking forward to this. I love having conversations with you. I love, basically you've helped me come out of my shell, through just knowing you and being friends with you, Jay. You have helped me actually, be a voice, where I just always like being the person who supported the people with a voice.
Uh,
Um, but it's like, but like, are we doing the best thing with our time at that moment? And does it matter? Should we be, you know, like hyper obsessed with, um, you know, that pursuit of like, do I need to be like the best of all things? Um, you know, and I guess I'm kind of in a reflection point, like saying, because I obviously right now, health to me is the most important thing, to knowing actually that this little wake up call here is only going to be something that's going to it's a bump in life. It's people are going through so much worse, and being actually going through treatments and seeing people around me just facing their end of life is just it is sobering to experience that. But it sets things in puts sets priorities, and oddly, it actually allows me to become more efficient at things. But I still, you know,
What are you
it's
most proud of?
what am I most proud of in terms of this is like what do you mean? In like with what I'm going through or life or what's
The last 5 years of, well, because you said you put yourself out there more.
yeah. And if we look at the last 5 years, and you know, heck, that started um let's go back a little further, like 6 years. So going from someone actually who is very uncomfortable on camera, realizing people are going to actually like hear my stutter, realize that I don't know everything, and just kind of worried about just being out there naked. But then actually in 2020, um, I started going daily, live daily with doing I think Mortgage Leadership Outlook. Had some of the most amazing minds in the mortgage industry joining us on a daily broadcast. Um, so I would say like that the kind of me being more vocal, being more confident, being actually someone actually who realizes I just love the stories of people in the mortgage industry. I mean, we have such amazing people, from rookies who write 13 loans in their first month, to people who have been in the industry for decades and are reinventing themselves and becoming AI first organizations from being traditional mortgage bankers. I mean, it's truly phenomenal, the position that I'm in to hear these stories, get to share these stories with other mortgage professionals. So yeah, I'd say that would be the proudest thing I've done. And for me personally, our organization has done amazing things too. And without the organization that's behind me, I wouldn't be able to have this voice and to be able to share, the other leaders with mortgage professionals.
6 years ago, you and I wouldn't think this if I didn't know you, that there was apprehension of sharing who you were, what your voice with the world. And today you're stewarding an example of overcoming with a cancer diagnosis to thousands of people. I want to tell you at the end of this episode, I love you, buddy. You're a leader. I've learned from you the whole time that we've worked together and when we didn't, um, and continue to. Just a conversation we had the other day. Now that, well, that's a podcast we'll do next week or next time, whatever, and continue to learn. So what an inspire. Yeah, you inspired me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. And yeah, like the inspiration you've given me has changed the direction of my life.
Now I just got to listen to my own advice through you.
You just got to hold the mirror up. If you listen to some of the sage advice that you've given me and I've given so many people, um, you know, I don't and I know you do, but I can't imagine what would happen.
I
Like,
want the audience to really think about the people in their life that they help and they that help them. Like it is a mutually beneficial. Someone asked me this morning, What's an example of somebody you'd say you really impacted? And I was overwhelmed by the question. I did, well, this is true. When I was 18, I had no place to live. So Jordan Brito gave me a couch in his basement. He's like, help me lose weight. But it was mutually beneficial. I had no place to live. I needed a place. He needed help. His father ended up becoming one of my pseudo uh, fathers, like mentor. So hopefully the audience understands, continue to learn from you that we learn from each other and grow from each other.
Mm.
And it's the circle.
And you being actually in the unique position of helping like a lot of successful companies, like you're a collector of helping each other, so indirectly each of the companies that you work with and the leaders you work with are helping each other by learning from each other. And I know you do a lot to kind of build that community and get everyone together, so everyone's kind of learning from each other. I'm blessed to be a part of this circle.
Yeah, I hope to join the circle soon too. Thank you today for helping put the mirror up of priorities and urgency and strength of will. So I can't wait to for our next conversation. If you're listening to this episode and you don't have a relationship with the Culture Matters podcast, shame on you. Change that by listening to the show. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No shame. No shame. Please type in Andrew Berman, the Culture Matters podcast, and start from the beginning. I mean, you're talking about probably 50 hours of just sage, practical, and thoughtful content. Calling it content makes me sick. If you're laughing right now at that, go listen to the show because then you'll understand why I said that, and you probably care about that. And we'll see you next time on the Culture Matters podcast. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.